Welcome to the Wackadoo Unhinged podcast. Brought to you live every Tuesday from Wackadoo Brewing in Colorado Springs, veteran owned and operated. 20 beers on tap at all time, all made in-house. All about beer, our brewery, amazing local businesses, local people, and a whole lot of randomness. Wackadoo Unhinged!
Hey everybody, it's Steve and welcome to Wackadoo Brewing. This is Wackadoo Unhinged, episode number 42. I'm here as always with my co-host Dennis and the Brew Squatch, aka Sean. And today's special guest is Kay. Kay, thank you so much for coming on the show. Yes, we'll see how this goes. And by the way, the hair does look nice.
Okay,
it looks
I know.
good.
I can see a little gray over
You've got the locks,
here
though.
showing.
No, that's not gray. That's experience.
I mean, you're
There you go.
sitting next to a ZZ Top dropout.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Oh my God!
Which ZZ Top?
Somebody just told me the drummer from ZZ Top's died not too long ago, and I was like,
Yeah.
I guess I missed that one, and I feel really bad about that. And this morning, moment of silence, Dolly Parton passed away.
I know.
Oh,
Sad.
you know, it was like I grew up on her and the lady who played Elvira. Those were my teenage years. So yeah.
She has gone home.
She has, right? And we had a guest. I had a customer in here earlier that actually met her a few times.
Yeah?
And it went to
times.
Dolly World and actually got to shake her hand and talk to her. She said she was very approachable, very nice lady.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a facade. She was one of those like genuinely
yeah.
good people.
Like, you know, all kinds of celebrities, you hear all those little tidbits about them, and it's here or there. Everything about her was just unbelievably good.
Yeah.
You never heard a bad thing about her.
Yeah, and a huge family. Yeah, she had like 4 kids and a dozen grandkids. Not a eulogy, but the one who announced it this morning that she had passed away was her grandson or grandnephew. Grandnephew, there you go.
Okay.
There was actually her security. He was her personal security.
Wow.
And before he was, his dad was. So her nephew was her personal security for years.
Wow.
Everybody in her family was taken care of.
Wow.
Given great opportunities to succeed in business or whatever it is they wanted to do. She made sure they all had the opportunities without spoiling them.
Oh, yeah.
But gave them that in to get into whatever it is they were interested
And
in.
then
Wow.
the philanthropy with her book stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Sending out free books to kids all over the country.
All over the country, yep. And then when the hurricane hit, she opened up Dolly World so people could come and stay there for free.
Wow.
But until their homes were opened back up. I mean, just an amazing woman.
Yeah.
So, not to sidetrack, but that was
No,
fresh on my
that's
mind
fine.
because
No,
a
I
lot
was
of
thinking the
religious
same
leaders have done.
thing. You know. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Kay, you are a published author.
Yes.
Which is fantastic,
No
by the way.
ADD here.
And I know. I'm squirrel all over the place, but I know there's certain points I have to hit. So I try to hit them as early in as I can, and then we go crazy.
When I brought my books with me in case you wanted me to do the visual.
No, I would love that, and I would love a copy of your book, by the way. Where can I find your book?
Right here in my bag.
Thank you.
It's the closest thing to getting one possible.
Right?
And in fact, I'll gift you.
Well, and that's one of the things we were talking about. I'd love to have you come in, do a book signing with us and things
Okay.
like that. I've been trying with a bunch of local authors because a lot of people don't know this, and I don't tell everybody. I'm actually a published author as well. And I would really love to do a book signing day here if I can get several local authors. And we could actually do like a book signing day at the brewery. Holy crap, you have more than one book.
Actually it's 2. This is the original cover for Belonging.
Mm-hmm.
This is the self-help version of my whistleblower memoirs. My
Yes.
original one was called Over the Edge, a Pawn in the Scientology Money Machine.
Ooh, nice.
And that's because I was a fundraiser for the majority of the time I was in. And I raised like literally millions of dollars.
Cults and religions
Yeah.
need fundraising?
Yeah, fundraising. This is the new cover, which I like much better.
Now, did you pick yours? Did you pick your covers?
I had somebody design them for me. I said this is what I'd like it to look like.
Yeah.
And
So
they just
I did the
kinda
original
followed my
cover for my
instructions.
book, and then when Amazon and Barnes & Noble Books A Million, they picked it up, they changed the cover. Nobody told me.
Interesting.
Like they just threw a new cover on it. If you look on Amazon, there's one version which has like the purple sand dunes that I did, and then there's another version
Okay.
that's like orange. And I was like, where did this cover come from? So
Cool. So I have
they
one
just-
of the originals.
Yeah, they just
Oh,
slapped a new
wow.
cover on
Do
my.
that.
Yeah,
I've never ever heard of that. Do you have your own ISB numbers?
Yes, yeah, I bought a
and
10
even
pack
with
of them
that,
because I thought
from-
I was going to write a lot, and I wrote one. And
Yeah. Oh my gosh! But
Yeah.
I've never ever heard
Yeah,
of them
no, they
changing the cover.
just literally just threw a different cover on it. I don't know if that's like the Kindle cover version or what, because they put it on Kindle, and I didn't even know they were putting it on Kindle. So
That's bizarre.
Yeah. Well, and then I found out 6 years after, because I get the little royalties. I get a couple of bucks here and there when
Yeah.
a copy sells. I did not know Kindle is under a whole different payout, and I wasn't getting paid for it. And they sent me an email one day. I'd be like, "Hey, all this money's just sitting in this account. What do we do with it?" And I was like, "Wait, what? What money?"
Wow.
So I had to send in my new bank account information, all that, and they just sent me this big check. And I was like, "Oh,
I swear, I think that's happened
that's
to you more
interesting.
than anybody I know. That you just
randomly money."
random money has been
Wow.
sitting somewhere.
Yeah, well, we just found that. I just found this
That's
morning. I got on
crazy.
PayPal. I hadn't been on PayPal in a year, and I had a bunch of money
Next,
just
you're gonna
sitting
tell
in
me you
PayPal.
found a thumb drive with a couple of Bitcoin on it.
Oh,
Gosh,
God,
I'm gonna
I
have to
wish.
check and see if I've been getting paid. Because I mean,
because they didn't know they do two different ones. So they do one for your physical copy, and then Kindle is actually a different account.
I might even have a whole stash sitting
You
there.
could.
I don't even
Now
know
I'm sure
it.
you've sold more books than I have. I've sold like 3,000 copies.
I know I haven't sold more than you.
What?
Even
really?
with all
But
the
because
stuff.
this is a
No,
much
I
better
haven't
book
gotten
than
up-
mine.
I haven't gotten up to 3,000. But so belonging
Yes.
is the self-help version. The only difference is it does not mention the word Scientology at all.
Yeah, you gotta
It is
be-
like nowhere in there.
'Cause then Tom Cruise is gonna come
it's
get
all
you.
the same. It's all the same information.
Yeah.
You know, basically.
No,
But
Alec
it
Baldwin
just
is the
doesn't say the word there.
Yeah.
But interesting thing though is that when I first started writing the first book, the cult had fairly recently lost a major lawsuit. They say they didn't.
No, of course not. No.
And it turned out all of us cult members were being lied to for years. We were told that
What, a cult lied to
that we
you?
were that we were told that we had never ever lost a lawsuit,
Yeah.
which was complete BS. It turned out after I got out and did the research that they had virtually lost every lawsuit.
Oh, wow.
And they just hid it by settling out of court.
Oh, absolutely,
Right.
yeah.
And then they lied, just flat out lied about their membership. The leader, David Miscavige, would at all the international events and stuff would get up on stage and say, "We have millions of members all over the world,"
Yeah.
and having been a fundraiser and having access to the member lists, I could tell you almost to the exact number how many members we had because those were the people that we called
Yeah.
for funds. And if you just imagine a stack of papers, like reams of paper, and there's 20 names per page,
Yeah.
and it's thin paper, it probably got up to about yay high.
No, it's more than we have
So
Mud
you
Club
start
members.
you start adding that up, and you're looking at 40 or 50,000.
Yeah.
Huge difference between
Well, yeah,
millions.
But you blow,
Yeah.
it's all about the
thousands.
propaganda. Yeah, you got to
and
make
then
it.
a lot of it didn't even help. For a lot of them were duplicates, and a lot of them were not Scientologists anymore. And
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of them,
Yeah.
never ever said they were a member. On top of it all, I mean, it was just like. And it's
Well,
one
yeah.
of those things you don't know until you're on the other side of it.
Yeah,
because
those numbers, they're
you
talking
know?
about everybody who's ever called about information
Yeah.
about it. That,
Yeah.
oh,
Everybody
okay,
came
we're
in and
counting
did
that
a
as a member.
personality
Like,
test,
followers
that
online.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean, it's just like,
crazy.
yeah. Oh, like the people that come in here with their band and they're like, oh, we've got 100,000 followers, but 5 people show up for your concert.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, sure, they're online, but are they really? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so,
I mean,
so all smoke and more.
Yeah.
All smoke
Well,
and
I mean,
mirrors.
it's just like-
and the whole idea is to make them look like they're so legitimate that
Well, absolutely.
they round up more people.
Yeah, make
And
everybody on the outside feel like they're missing out
they're-
on something on
exactly,
the inside.
and that they're so legitimate, and they got
Yeah.
their tax exempt status and the religious recognition, and it's all BS.
Yeah, smoke and mirrors.
It's
like
all
you
just
said.
smoke
Yeah.
and mirrors.
Well, I mean, it's the literal or metaphorical drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't see it until.
Well, yeah,
until
but when
out,
you're in it, you're
you know?
so in it that
Oh, yeah.
you want to believe so
But you gotta
hard.
wonder whose PR is responsible for that, because it was actually Flavor Aid. So was Flavor Aid trying to throw the blame off of them, or was Kool-Aid like, no,
Yeah,
That's a household name now.
Kool-Aid Man ran in there. Oh, yeah.
When I was a kid, we weren't allowed to drink Kool-Aid.
Right?
We were like Verner's ginger ales. That was our thing back in the day.
Hose water.
I had Tang.
Hose water. Oh, Tang?
water.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
Oh,
space
Tang?
drink. That's what made that
wait a sec.
popular.
What was the Ovaltine?
Yeah.
Remember
Ovaltine. Oh my God. Yeah, anybody over like 40 was supposed to drink it. It was good for you.
Hey, good for you.
Yep. Oh my God! They even had like a little jingle for it. Now it just stuck in my head. Okay,
Yes.
so what's the second book?
This is my first in a series. Good
Ooh,
God,
you got
what a
your
mess.
picture on the back and everything. Yes. See, I did mine back when I was
Yeah.
still doing a lot of like MMA and fighting. So my picture on the back, I had no shirt on. I look good. Now I look at it.
See, look, I
Now I
better
look
be
at it
sure.
and I'm
Oh,
like,
I have
oh,
a shirt on.
this
Yeah,
is-
good.
yeah, you have a shirt on. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's why you haven't sold 3,000 copies yet.
Maybe that's the
sense.
thing I need to change. Hadn't even considered that.
Right? Now I look back
We
on
could
it.
just laugh about the whole thing.
Exactly. I mean, you have to have a sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
God.
But I'm going to just let you lead the way. You
Yes.
ask me a specific question, I'll answer it the best
Absolutely.
I can.
Okay. So when did you get into Scientology?
Fall of 1975.
Okay,
when I
so
was
still-
just
yeah.
turning 20, just around the corner.
So they got you while you were young.
Yeah,
were
yep,
you in
yep.
college?
Nope.
I was gonna say
I
that's
was
usually where they grab them.
considering. Well, and here's the interesting thing. In retrospect, I can see this now. Hubbard, the founder,
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant at marketing and surveying and whatever.
Absolutely. Most of them are very
He
charismatic.
knew exactly what his target audience was from the time he started the whole thing in the early 50s. And they were basically your young people who were just kind of floundering around in life, not knowing, what am I going to do when I grow up? Maybe just recently graduated high school, joined the military, out of the military, going to college, but not really happy
Yeah.
with going to college. And then he not only got those people, he got their kids too. And it just kept going generation after generation. And next thing you know, you've got fourth generation Scientologists where the grandparents got in in the 50s, and then their kids
Yeah.
got in, and then their kids and their kids' kids. And,
I mean, honestly, that's how
just
most
crazy.
religions work.
Yeah.
Whatever your parents' religion was, that's generally what you become, or you
Yep.
go complete opposite. But
Yeah.
it's easier that way.
Yeah. And it basically, for me, from my own personal experience, it got me at a vulnerable time in my life
Yeah.
where I was already pretty messed up from trauma in my family. I lost my dad basically to psychiatry. He didn't die, but he was as dead as you can get after having shock therapy and psychotropic drugs. And that was in the early 60s. I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And my dad came out of a mental hospital. We were never told that that's what it was. He was just going for a rest.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he comes back a virtual zombie. And he was my person. He was like literally the only person in my life
Yeah.
that I felt I had a connection to, where he would just look at me and he'd know there was something going on in my head. And he'd go, "What's going on, hon?" And he'd sit me on his lap and he'd talk to me and he'd ask me questions. And he was I could just spill my guts.
Yeah.
And I'll admit it, I was a strange kid. I'm still a strange kid.
Really?
Yeah, I am. I admit it. And in fact, I'm proud of it.
Well, I mean, that's why
No.
we're happy to have you on the
Yeah,
episode.
thank
As soon as we
you.
started talking,
Thank
I was
you.
like, yep.
Yep. I was the kid that asked.
We're
the-
all mad here.
Yeah. Well, most kids, the first word they like to say a lot is no. My word was why.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, yeah.
Why? And I would just
Why?
drive my mother nuts and my teachers. My dad would laugh his ass off. He would just think it was hysterical. And I remember this one time, the whole family, I had like 5 siblings, right? So I'm the middle kid, and we're all watching TV, including the little baby. So there's like 6 kids, me included, and my 2 parents. We're like 8 of us in the living room, and I'm there like this, just staring off in space, and I've got my I'm just in this thinker pose, and I'm just like this. And my dad knocks my arm down, and he looks at me and goes, what are you so pensive about? I didn't even know what pensive meant, right? So I look at him, I go, what's pensive? And he says, in deep thought. And he just opened up this conversation that maybe he wished he had never asked me, because I just went, well, I'm thinking about the moon and the stars and the sun and all life on Earth. And I mean, I'm like 4 years old, and I'm just going, about, and how did we get here?
You're never
and how
ready
long
for
will
a
we
full
be
download
here?
of Child
And,
Brain.
and if I wasn't here, would I even be asking these questions? And I mean, it was just deep. And he was just looking at me like amazed.
Would I have these thoughts
like,
if I was a worm?
Wow. Just like that. Yeah. And then boof, now that man is gone.
Yeah.
And I had nobody else in my life to share that with or have that conversation with. And even if I tried, people would look at me weird. And, I'd ask my mom, why are people mean to each other? Because that was my big thing. I'd even split up my parents when they'd be fighting. I'd walk in between them, literally 4 years old. I'd please just talk to each other, be nice, and they'd look at me like, gosh, where'd this kid come from? And then at school, I'd break up the fights, and protect the little kids in particular. And I'd go home in tears, and I'd say to my mom, why are people mean to each other? I don't get it. And I'd be crying because, I just had to clean up Joey's bloody nose and stuff. And I just don't get it. I don't understand. People should be hugging each other. Why don't people just talk to each other? And my mom looks at me and she says, that's just the way life is. Oh my gosh.
Some people suck.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my heartbrait that eventually led me to
But yeah,
searching
you
for
lost
answers
that. You
and
lost
getting
that
into
support
cult.
early on. Yeah.
Yeah. But and I needed to find out why would my mom, why would our pastor who recommended the psychiatrist, why would the psychiatrist do something that evil? I mean, this is somebody in the medical profession, destroying a human being. I'm thinking, how is this even legal?
Well,
and so I was
was
the
a
perfect
medical
candidate.
professional, too.
Well, yeah, but they also had the what was it, the lobotomies.
Yeah.
They were still
Common
doing
practice.
that into the 80s, and it was just like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the thing that set the stage for me. And then I remember I had left home in Michigan, moved to California, finished my last year of high school in Santa Barbara. I was one of the kids that gets born in December that you turn 18 when you're still in high school. I was that kid. And I remember I was working and paying rent and everything while I was in high school, just supporting myself. And I'm working in this restaurant, and all these people that I'm working with, all of them are college students. And you'll never guess what they were going for their degrees.
Psychology.
There you go. And I thought, okay, I don't like psychiatry, but psychology, that sounds pretty innocent. You're listening and you're talking to people. That's kind of cool. And I was driven to want to go to college and get a degree in psychology, specifically child psychology. I wanted to help little kids. That was my thing.
Yeah.
And then the people that I worked with were such party animals. I mean, they were doing drugs. They were, it was drug, sex, and rock and roll. It was just all over the place.
California,
they were just
70s.
We're talking nude beaches and the whole, crazy thing. And I was like, no, that's not me.
You're a bandana short of looking like one. So
okay, there you go. Oh, shoot, I should have brought
That's
my
all I thought. I was like,
bandana.
you got a
I had one at
bandana
home,
instead of
man.
sunglasses outside, you'd be good.
Wait a second, I got the sunglasses.
God.
Never mind. But that was the thing. I just didn't feel like I fit in, and I was like, well, what about the Peace Corps? And so I got into my wanderlust, years trying to figure it out, dipping my toe in, being the bad girl here and there, going, no, tested that's not me. And then finally I get a phone call from a friend in Santa Barbara. I was in Denver at the time. I was allegedly on a vacation, and I ended up being told that I lost my job in Santa Barbara, which turned out not to be true. So I'm talking to my friend who's keeping my studio cottage, under control. So because I don't want to lose that place. It's $100 a month, and I'm sending him the money every month to keep my place. We're talking on the phone. All of a sudden, he sounds like a happy person, and I'm like, "What? You sound different. What's going on with you?" And he told me that he's taken some classes, and I'm like, "But you're an engineer. You already finished
Yeah.
college. I mean, what kind of classes?" He goes, "It's hard to explain over the phone. When you come back to Santa Barbara, I'll tell you all about it." And that was the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, he didn't care if I got in or not. He was brand new. He was just a happy guy, and he thought, "What the hell? Why not tell my friend?"
Yeah. Hey, this is
kind
a
of
new thing I'm trying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So he had no idea that the impact that conversation had. I get off the phone with him, and I walk up. I was like at work at the time. I was on a break. I walk up to my manager at the bar at the Denver Broker. Remember the Denver Broker up 17th and Champa?
No.
Okay, they're not in existence anymore,
Yeah.
but it's an amazing. It was a stock brokerage turned into a restaurant, and all the vaults were a different
Like
eating
the private
area.
rooms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the place was so big they had to have food runners run the food from the kitchen to
Oh, damn.
to the clients.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so I go to the manager. He says, "I don't even know how to explain this, but I need to go back to Santa Barbara just briefly to check something out, and I'll be back. Will I have my job?" He goes, "Oh man, you're a great employee. It's slow season right now. Fair enough, go." So I had no transportation. In fact, I hitchhiked to work. That's how I hitchhiked. That's how I got to work from Wabash Street, which is now Aurora, all the way to downtown.
Okay.
I called the radio station and I got a free ad on the radio.
Nice.
To get a ride
Hell yeah.
here all the way back to Santa Barbara. Next day, I'm like in a car with like 3 other people, and we're like going to Santa Barbara. So anyway, so he basically has. I get there and we meet for dinner, and he very casually says, "Well, it's not that difficult to explain, but just imagine like you're a kid and you've got all these things that are just accumulating." Traumatic things that are accumulating in your life, and you've got nobody to unload that to, and it's just built up and built up and built up, and you can't understand it. But there's a reason why you're holding on to it, and it triggers things, and then you react to things based on the stuff that's happened and accumulated in your life. And I'm like, wow, that makes so much sense.
I was going to say, that's
Oh,
speaking
Mike, I
directly
get it.
to
Come
you.
on,
Yeah.
Woo. So we walk into the center there in Santa Barbara, and I attend a lecture and see a film, and I do a personality test. And the next thing you know, the thing that was ruining my life was that I'm spinning my wheels, and I can't figure out what I want to do with my life.
Like a lot of young people.
That kind of made
Yeah.
sense, And the thing that's going to handle it is signing up for this course and buying this book, and
Of course.
and the rest is history.
Yeah. So how
Yeah.
long were you with them?
A total of 37 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So
10 years, most of that, the first 10 years was pretty much in Santa Barbara, and then I joined the hierarchy in Los Angeles and was in the big blue building that you've probably seen.
the one you actually get to see where they're proud of.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
And then part of that time, I was in New York a couple years. Then they had an office, a big office out there, and I toured a lot. I did a lot of what they call missions, and I also did a lot of fundraising events.
Yeah.
So
A lot of religions have missions.
they do. They do.
Funny how that works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But the thing that was bizarre, I mean, there's so many things that were bizarre, but and again, I didn't think it was bizarre or anything was really wacko with it
Yeah.
until after the fact. And I'm looking at it going, wait a second. I was voting age the whole time I was there, but they didn't have us vote until 2008.
Then it became important.
And then it became important.
So 2008, was that Clinton? God,
No,
I'm terrible.
No, Obama.
Oh,
Obama.
90s.
Oh, there was Obama.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay,
So
yeah.
I'm on the base in
That's right, because Bush was in when 9/11 happened.
Yep.
I'm trying to like put my career, my military career around.
Yeah, so you had
Presidency.
Bush
you
was
had
2000.
So you had
Yeah.
That's right.
Clinton,
It was
Bush,
him-
and then Obama,
Him or
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney. That's who it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So we have a mess hall in this big blue building, and so they were doing. I mean, because the whole area, all the blue buildings, they're all separate organizations under one umbrella, right? So we could not all fit in the mess hall at the same time, so they had to split it up into times and stuff. So one set of people would be in there at one time, and so virtually, I'd say probably there were 1,000 people or something like that, close to 1,000 people all total, just on that base. So we had maybe a couple hundred people at a time went to this big meeting about the election. Now, we didn't know that it's against the law and it violates your 501c3 agreement to tell people how to vote.
Yeah, because you can't be political as a nonprofit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're not supposed to.
Well, especially if you're religious.
I was going to say I've
nonprofit.
met a couple of nonprofits that are pretty political.
Yeah, but who's
Yeah.
actually going to enforce that?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we were specifically told to vote for Obama, to vote Democrat, because we got our religious recognition under Clinton, and he was Democrat. And so the way that we have to maintain it was we have to keep on voting Democrat, right?
That's nice.
That's not
So-
fraud at all.
And we had already been, it had already been explained to us over many, many years about how horrible the government was and the U.S.
No, you gotta be anti-government,
because
yeah.
they're not letting us, have religious recognition and we're a religion and blah, blah,
And then you
blah,
got
blah,
it, and then
blah,
it was
blah,
like,
blah,
oh, they're
blah,
great.
you know?
Yeah, sweet.
And then, so what they did is, like, literally none of us were registered to vote. We had never ever registered to vote. So they arranged, I kid you not, to bring
A
the
registered
people
in-
there to
Oh.
the base to register us
Wow.
the same day that we were to vote, and they brought the polling machines with them.
Oh wow, that's fantastic.
Like, you're like,
I've done some deep dives on some weird shit, but that's wow. So they bring you in. You're now a registered voter. Go vote right
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
No, we're
And
not,
you're
we're not
already
watching you at all.
convinced that who you need to vote
yeah,
for,
yeah.
right?
That's oh my god.
And then I don't know how many, because there were Scientology
I mean, it's a good
organizations
flex on the part of
all over the country. So
Yeah.
I imagine that they did that same thing
Yeah.
at their base in Hemet, California, and in Florida, and all over the place.
Wow.
But I have no proof of that. I just
yeah,
know
but
what
that's
I
still great.
experienced
That's
myself.
one thing I've never
personally.
heard. That is fantastic.
You know?
Oh,
And we were even, and some of us had the guts to ask questions. We were like, they had a
Yeah.
time, and I don't know who asked it. It might have even been me. Like, is it okay for us to tell the public, to who to vote for? And they, oh no. It cautioned against that. Well, what do we do if they ask us? And we were told that we couldn't tell them who to vote for, but we could tell them who we voted for.
Yeah.
yeah. This,
I mean,
this is gonna
This is what
sound.
I did.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound messed up. So my second tour in Iraq was in 2008, and it was when they were having their open elections and things like that, and all of those people would come up and ask us, who should we vote for? And we're like, no, we freed your country. Now you can vote for whoever you want. That's part of one of the things you won. And they're like, well, but who should we vote for? And they kept asking that, and it just the parallel to that I think is funny because that was the same year.
That's interesting.
It was in 2008, and all these Iraqis would come up and ask us who they should be voting for.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
yeah, different country, but same time, and the
Yeah.
same thing happened.
Yeah.
Oh.
So basically, they set themselves up for
Yeah, that's
to just like play the system. You know, they just
yeah.
they
No,
just
I mean that's
Oh, yeah.
played a big con, and then the next thing you know, well, even before that 2008 election, the tide had already significantly changed. After Hubbard passed away in early 1986, this
Yeah.
guy Miscavige took over, and the next thing you know, we're like, it's all about fundraising. When I first got in, it was about delivering service and helping people.
Yeah.
And then it became money, 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 money,
that's
money,
that's the way a lot of those go. I
You
mean,
know?
obviously, you know,
Ugh.
good or bad, right or wrong, L. Ron Hubbard just had another version of every other religion that's out there, and it started off with a good cause and
It
a good
did.
reason.
I think it did.
and then
know?
somebody else gets involved, and all of a sudden it's about yourself at the top.
Yeah.
You know, what you get
Yeah.
out of it.
And
right?
then
You see how much
honestly,
power and
from
money
what
you
I've
can get.
learned since about Hubbard, he was, even though he came across as he was this really benevolent guy and everything, he was pretty wacky.
Well, yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, anybody that
Pretty
starts a
nuts.
religion's,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know?
So, where was what year, and what was the tipping point for you to
Very
leave?
mid science fiction writer.
Well, interestingly enough, that 208 year election, I just happened to be going through 2 back-to-back medical crises, and they were virtually ignored. I was hemorrhaging one day. It was like in June, and I got up at 7 in the morning, and I was like, "This is like a dire emergency." I was like literally dropping blood clots the size of kittens,
Oh, wow.
you know, every 15 minutes, and I even reported and said, "Hey, something really is awful wrong here." I'm like,
Yeah.
and I was just told to shut up and get to work, basically. And then
We're a family here, though.
and we'll let the medical officer know. She'll have to take you there.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to reach the medical officer, and Thursday is the magic day of the week for Scientology. It's the end of the week when you have to make your quotas and you've got to collect your statistics and turn it in, and 2 o'clock
That's
is when
why I
it
get all
ends
those texts on
and stuff.
Thursdays.
So
yeah.
I was told.
Why does this sound so much like Amazon?
Yeah. Oh my God. But I was told I needed to wait.
You had to wait.
I had to wait until the medical officer was available to take me, and I'm thinking to myself, at a situation like this, wouldn't you call an ambulance?
Yeah, this would be the emergency side of it,
This would be
yeah.
like, and they just kept telling me to shut up and get back to work, and I couldn't even reach her and have a conversation about it. So she doesn't finish, the week doesn't end till 2. She didn't finish the statistic evolution of all the collecting everything until 4, I think it was. I didn't get to ER until 5 o'clock. So by this time, I've been bleeding
Yeah, for half the
for
day.
10 hours.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until I'm there in the emergency room with the doctor and the nurse, and they're looking at me in shock that I'm still alive. They even said to me, and I'm like wondering, why are they looking at me funny like this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's up? They said, we don't even understand how you can still be alive right now because you have lost so much blood. I mean, we're all almost to the point of a transfusion, and we don't even know if we got the blood here.
Yeah.
And the medical officer who had come in with me, she's watching me.
To make
Eyes
sure you're
on
not.
me.
Yeah.
And they asked me point blank because, I had to allow her to be in the room. They had to ask me permission,
Yeah.
and I had to say yes.
Of course.
Please, she's with me. And I look at them, and I lied straight through my teeth because I knew what the repercussions were if I didn't. And I said, I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah. No, not when it comes to your health. So yeah.
Yeah, so
that's a good
so
reason. That was your wake up, and
that was that was the start of the wake up. It just it got worse from there.
Yeah, that
Then
I don't really
then
matter.
They end up having to do this procedure on me that was pretty gruesome. And fortunately, I was under anesthetic, so it wasn't as horrible as it could have been. Mm-hmm. And they had to give me a shot of something, and I was specifically told right in front of this gal, you need a hysterectomy before your next period.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll probably bleed out and you won't even be able to get here in time to get help.
Damn.
So this was said to right in front of her,
Yeah.
right? And so I take that, whole thing seriously. I get back to the base. I end up having to talk to the senior person in the organization that I'm in. And she basically says bullshit.
Oh, yeah, no. I know better.
And wants you to get a second opinion. Fortunately, the Scientologist doctor I went to was in favor of it and said yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, who the hell knows what would have happened.
Yeah, you probably
Yeah.
wouldn't be here right
Yeah,
now.
but then they wouldn't pay for it.
Of course not.
So I
You
get
give
through
us money,
all
we don't
that,
give you money.
and
Yeah.
they're like, they wanted me to basically fill out an application and get a freebie,
Yeah.
be a welfare recipient, So in the nick of time, I get the application approved, and we're talking like literally a day before my period was going to start.
Yeah.
That close.
Wow.
And I get out, and this is where the wheels really, really turned.
Yeah.
I get out, and I'm now in a medical dorm, and it's this room I'd never seen in the building before. I thought it was storage or something, and door opens, and I see this girl, a fellow staff member, that I hadn't seen for months, and I had been asking about, because I kept asking people, "Where's Holly? Where's
Yeah.
Holly? Where's Holly?" Nobody's saying anything. I don't know. Like, wow, whatever. Haven't seen Holly around. She was the director of disbursement, so that's where we would get our pay from we'd get a little allowance.
Yeah, like a little
possibly
stipend.
once a week, and she was the one at the window that we get the money from. And nobody would answer the question. I open up the door, and there's Holly, laying in a bed with no hair on her head. Obviously, she has cancer, and she's got a tumor that was so big it looked like she was pregnant with triplets.
Oh, God.
So I'm looking at that, and I'm going, holy crap.
This is how much they really
that
care.
could be me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she and I get to talking, and she turns over her head one day, and she looks at me, and she says, if there's any regrets I have, it's that I haven't seen my family in years, and I probably won't see them before I die, and they probably won't even know that I'm dead.
Oh, yeah, that'll
And
do it.
I was like, holy crap. I mean, I had stayed in touch with my family by phone.
Yeah.
Could never get off the base to go see them. For
Yeah,
the
but they
most
try to
part.
restrict that as much as they
but
can.
Just, I could never get away. I had to have I was supposed to get 3 weeks leave a year. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I had to get a replacement in order to do it. So how do you get yourself replaced to do that? I mean, it was just like
Yeah,
crazy.
isolation.
Keep people working, keep them tired, keep them cloudy.
Yep,
there you
isolated.
go.
Yep.
So my wheels turned while I'm in recovery, and I'm thinking to myself, whoa, this is really messed up.
Yeah.
But I'm in a pinch because I have another surgery I have to do
Yeah.
from an accident I had the year before. And just on that, I had a workman's comp claim. This surgery happened in July of 2008. The accident I had happened in October of 2007.
Yep.
So I'm already way behind the 8 ball on getting a surgery done. They were just sending me to the local Scientology chiropractor for a severe neck injury. I mean, this neck injury I had was so bad. I didn't know how bad it was. All I know is that if I put my arms down at a desk, to work,
Yeah.
my arms and my hands would go numb.
Yeah, no, that's
So I had to stand up for months. I had to stand up with my arms elevated like this to make phone calls to work. And then now this is at the same time all this stuff is happening with the hysterectomy and
Yeah.
you know, all that stuff going on. And I also had to sleep with my arms up. Because
damn.
my arms, I would go totally numb. So obviously there was something seriously
Yeah, that's-
wrong.
that's
But
not normal.
They wouldn't get me an MRI. They wouldn't have me get an X-ray. Nothing,
Yeah.
right? So finally, this whole thing is done with the hysterectomy. They basically said you got a choice. We can either address your neck injury or we can address the hysterectomy. You take a pick. You
Choose.
know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, okay, I'll take a pick, but we got to get back to this,
That's right.
you know, and make
Yeah.
sure this is dealt with. You know,
Do you
we
want your
can't
arms
just,
to stop going numb, or do you want to
yeah,
die
which
the
one
next
do you want
cycle?
to do? Okay, let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So I knew I had that other surgery to go. It was workman's comp claim. So I was thinking to myself, okay, I got to figure out how the hell to get out of here. But I also know the rules of the game there. If you don't leave in good standing, you're basically shunned and you're
blacklisted
you're
from everything.
blacklisted.
Yeah.
You're like
Wackadoo.
you're excommunicated. This is bad. Not something I wanted to face. You know, here I am in my mid 50s by that time. I'm thinking, who the hell's going to hire me? I'm a freaking mess.
Yeah.
You know, emotionally, financially, physically, spiritually, the whole bit.
Yeah.
And so I figured, okay, I'm going to heal from this surgery, and then I'm going to make a point of saying, that's it. We got to get me to a professional.
Yeah.
You got workman's comp insurance that covers this. I can't live like this anymore. So I just put my foot down and went, we're doing this. So I ended up getting to a spinal specialist, one of the best spinal specialists in the country that just happens to be in Beverly Hills.
Oh, of course.
You know, so I end up seeing the spinal specialist, and the new medical officer goes with me to this visit. And this spinal specialist was pretty cool. He actually polled the guy that was with me because he wanted him to see it.
Yeah.
And he took the MRI and he made circles and he said, see this spot right here? He goes, you're a hairline from being paralyzed for life.
Oh, wow.
All you got to do is twist your neck wrong, get whiplashed, have a fall, jerk your neck, and game over.
Just look a little too fast in one direction.
Nice.
Jeez.
So he says, if I could get you in surgery right this minute, I wouldn't even let you walk out the door right now. That's how bad this is. And he looked at the guy that was with me and he goes, apparently you're part of this and you're looking over her.
Yeah.
You got to take note of this because this is serious. And so I'm like, and he's telling me, promise me you're not going to go skiing. I go, you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about that.
no.
You're not going to this, you're not that, you know, whatever. And I'm like, whoa, this is scary shit. So anyway, I end up getting scheduled like a week or 2 weeks out, and I end up getting the surgery. And right away they wanted me back. They wanted me back
Oh,
to
yeah,
work
of
so
course,
fast. It
yeah.
was just like
Yeah.
You're the
I'm just
commodity.
like a worker bee. Who gives a hoot about whether I've healed or not? You know. So I end up holding my ground and I get through it, and then I just get the wheels turning, and because I already knew how to work the system.
Yeah.
And I basically said, I want to be off fundraising because I already had doctor's notes and everything that said I need to be on a medical schedule and I need to not be up. Because as a fundraiser, it was one of the toughest jobs in the organization because they had so much pressure on the money. I would go sometimes for a couple days with no sleep at all, you know. So they said, you know, she's got to have her rest. So I said, I want to be taken off of fundraising, and I want to be maybe put on a project, just find something I can do that I don't have to lift and bend, and
Yeah.
you know that I can
Things
still
doctors don't want me doing.
contribute,
Yeah.
but I can't be sitting for extended periods of time. I've got to get enough rest. I got to heal, and they agreed to let me do that. And then that phase was ending, because it was only for X number of months that they
Yeah.
were going to let me do it. And I put my foot down again. I says, now this project's over, but I'm not going back to fundraising. Not. And so even the captain even tried to get approval for me to just be off fundraising, and the powers that be said, nope, not doing it. So I end up in isolation because I'm sick again, and I'm contagious. And this is now a whole year almost has gone by. And while I'm in isolation, I have all this time on my hands to get sufficient rest, to just catch up and figure things out. And I knew I wasn't contagious anymore, but I went, they're going to put me right back out there, and it's going to be 24/7, and it's going to be a rat race, and I'm going to be all messed up again. So I'm not leaving this room until I got my head on straight.
Yeah.
So I caught up on my sleep, and I woke up one morning and I went, I'm a survivor. I don't need to put up with this. Because I was afraid of leaving, because I thought,
That was it. You had to have.
I thought I had no.
That's why they
that
isolate
nobody,
you.
I thought nobody would. Who's going to hire me? I'm a mess. How? I mean, and I can if I can't sit and stand for extended periods of time. What kind of work can I do?
Yeah.
So I thought I had no choice, and then I went, no way. I'm a survivor. I don't have to put up with this.
Yeah.
So I took a step back and I kind of went, okay, how am I going to communicate this so that they don't put me under 24/7 guard?
Yeah.
Because I'm a danger to them.
Yeah.
So I played it really cool. I followed the rules. I only had one person I was allowed to talk to, the master at arms. You probably know what that term means.
Yeah.
And I just leveled with her very politely, and I said, I'm a ball and chain on your ankle. I did the "it's not you, it's me."
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
I mean,
this is a breakup.
I gotta be on on a shortened schedule. I can't do the functions that you need me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's better off for all
Yeah,
concerned.
if you guys
for me
just
to
let me go, I'm
let
not
me
really
go.
doing it for you.
So they did this thing called a fitness board. So basically, I was honorably discharged.
Yeah.
Right? But I still believed in the technology.
Yeah.
I just knew that being on staff and being under that kind of regimen was not healthy for me.
Yeah.
So I was still, willing to participate and go to events and take their courses and whatever.
Yeah.
And then I got to experience things from the public perspective, because it had always been from the staff member perspective.
Yeah, of course.
For so long. And I had not seen it from that perspective for so. I did early on in '75 because I was a public. Before,
Well, yeah, but that was also
joined.
long before mass media and social media.
Right, exactly. And I was warned, don't watch the news, don't go on the internet, don't read the mag, and it's all the stuff and well, they didn't realize that I hadn't seen the majority of my family. It hadn't hit them for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And it was bound to happen that I'm going to cross paths with something they don't want me to see. It's just inevitable.
Well, of course.
I mean, so when I got off their base in 2010, I end up going to see my family here in Colorado. And I get to meet a niece that I had never met, and I didn't even know she existed.
Yeah.
She's 12 years old. She sets up my Facebook account for me. This is so hysterical. I'm just imagine here I am.
Yeah.
I don't know what a laptop is. I don't know what a smartphone is. I don't know what the internet is, or Wi-Fi, or Facebook. I am I know nothing.
Yeah, it's like coming out
right?
of a time
it's
capsule.
What the hell? So I'm just freaking out, and she's on the computer, the laptop, and she's doing all this fiddling around, and has us take a picture together. It's got a little camera in there, and I'm like, okay, and then I'm telling her, I got to be careful, who I connect with, and so she before she even sets up my Facebook account, she says, let's see what the internet has to say about you. And I'm like, the internet?
How am I on the internet?
You've been like, how am I in the, I was like, just freaking out. So she types my name in, and mine pops right up. Like, I'm thinking, I'm a nobody out here.
Yeah.
I mean, hardly even anybody even knows that I'm out here. So how could the internet, how could you even find my name in a search? It popped up like instantaneously and on somebody's website. Somebody, big name person who had gotten out and had this whole web page going on where they would be announcing who just left. Somehow or another, they had the intel on who just got out.
Yeah.
So there's this entire thread that went on for pages about me, all about me. It started off with, hey, I heard Kay Rowe's out. That
It's like a
person says,
survivor's
really?
page. Yeah.
Do you know where she is? I think she's in Colorado. And I'm in Colorado.
Yeah.
That's where her family is. And I'm like, you know? And they're like, do you know why she's out? Oh, I think she had some medical issue. And I'm thinking, how do these people,
Yeah.
how do
Yeah,
they know
it's
all
scary.
this stuff, you know? And this is 2010
Yeah.
when it had just become a thing. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, turn that off, you know? And
Yeah.
so she goes and she sets up my first Facebook account, and automatically I'm getting Facebook friend requests. I'm like, how do I know who that person is? And I've never heard of that person before. And she goes, oh, you can click right here and you can see their profile. And I'm like going, okay, but I had to like just really watch my stuff on who I connected with. So I watched, you know, I kept in line, and I, you know, slowly connected with people that were in good standing. Mm-hmm. So because I didn't want to get myself in trouble. So that's when it kind of opened up, you know, this door that was supposed to stay, like Pandora's box, you might call it, that was supposed to stay shut. And then from there, it took me a couple years.
Yeah, but that's what kind of started the
But
unraveling.
the unraveling started. And then I started having my own personal
That's why
experiences.
they fight so hard to keep people isolated. Once that isolation breaks, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I ended up
floodgates.
working for Scientologists, and I started just observing things that were happening to them and with them and between them, and just, you know, and then I am, I can't help it, I'm on the internet, and I'm running across people that are upset, and they're on the fence, and they don't know if they want to stay in anymore, and I'm trying to stay away from them, but it's kind of impossible.
Yeah.
You know, and then I was having things that were happening personally to me that I was going, this is kind of weird, I don't know, and I didn't think it was safe for me to tell anybody.
Yeah, because you're not sure what you're allowed to, what you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing in particular that was probably one of the most disturbing things that really got my eyes open was, I mean, imagine you're in a cult for all those years. We weren't allowed to read anything that wasn't Hubbard.
Oh, wow.
In the beginning, we were. Before the whole takeover, when Hubbard was still alive,
Yeah.
I could read science fiction books. I mean, I read the whole entire Lensman series and the Foundation trilogy and the Dune trilogy. I mean, I was very much into sci-fi. No problem with that. But then as the years went on and Hubbard died and everything, and this new guy
became
came in, then it
more-
was like we couldn't read anything by anybody that wasn't Hubbard, whether it was fiction or nonfiction. It was just really shutting us down on this. And we were all supposed to just listen to and read Hubbard, you know, just like that was just like infused in our veins. And I remember I was being under watch because they knew I was leaving. This is in the final few months. And somehow or another I had gotten a hold of the Harry Potter books. Security comes in my room.
What? Over the Harry Potter books?
To check in on me, apparently. And I figured out, laughed after the fact, that somebody had ratted me out and said, Kay Rowe's got some Harry Potter books there under her mattress, whatever. And so I get told that, they got taken away from me, and I was like, and these are men walking into a woman's dorm, and coming into me at like 10 or 10 o'clock to take my Harry Potter books away. So I'm like, okay, well, apparently I can't read anything that's not Hubbard. So I got some science fiction books written by Hubbard.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't okay because it was fiction.
It wasn't the doctrine.
You got to read the basics and the this, right? So anyway, fast forward. Now I'm out, and now I'm in Clearwater, and I'm on the big base in Clearwater, and I'm taking this course that's all this huge series of lectures that Hubbard had done. Mm-hmm. I mean, Hubbard was like so full of himself. He had millions of words written, millions of words spoken. He had, like, if you had a whole library, it would like fill bookshelves, from here up to the top, all the way across. And the whole series of all his books and lectures and everything would probably cost you tens of thousands of dollars. I kid you not, right? So I'm on this one particular lecture. And in this lecture, he outright says that, and I'm paraphrasing, that Jesus Christ was a criminal. And that he was a pedophile, and he was a thief, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
I mean,
I
the
was
criminal
brought
part,
up,
depending
I
on
was
who you're...
I was brought up Catholic.
Yeah.
And even though I wasn't happy with the Catholic Church, I still believe in God. I still believe in Jesus. Yeah. Never had anything with that. And in my early days just getting in, Hubbard had made a point of making it look like, oh, we're all good with religion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
We're all denominational. We like, we're like, yes, and, even saying Christ-like things and whatever. I even wrote an issue called To a Roman Catholic. So in my wildest dreams, I didn't think that I would come across a lecture like this. And I'm thinking to myself, now that I know this, how am I supposed to go up to a Christian and say, hey, come on to a lecture to find out about Scientology?
That's not the one you want to hear. Yeah.
You're eventually going to trip over this, and they're going to look back and go, who the freaking hell is this?
No, not that one.
Kay Rowe?
No, not that one.
Oh my
Any of the
gosh!
other ones.
But that was a big,
a
big eye opener for me. And then my wheels started turning on that, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, I thought I was betrayed already. This is like taking it over the top.
So when did you publish the first book?
October of 2017. It took me 2 years to write it.
Yeah. So, okay. And then the next book.
And this one came out in July of 2023. I stopped writing because I thought I got it off my chest. I'm done. I'm good. What got me to write again is I was so disturbed over the divisiveness and all the craziness in 2020 and 21. I was like, oh my gosh.
The whole world got flipped upside down.
The world is like gone freaking nuts. I was not going to do another fiction book, but I had a coach at the time that said, before, because I was going to do this book, I didn't have the name for it yet, but I was already working on the content. I said, I'm going to do fiction because it can't be censored, and nobody can, if I can say what I want, right? Nobody can say, did you fact check that? How do you know that's true?
Yeah.
I didn't want to mess with that. I was like, I'll just play it safe. I'll do fiction.
It's kind of like the rule in comedy. If enough people laugh, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's fiction.
Yeah. But he said, that you need some name recognition. You should probably do a redo of your memoirs. But he wanted me specifically to have the word Scientology in it, and I went, nope.
Yeah,
I'm not going there. Nope.
Yeah, they tend to be a very litigious group.
Yeah, but I probably could have gotten away with it, but I also noticed that when I put the first book out, within a week or so, I had like 55-star reviews. It was like, ching.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
and there were 2 stray 1-star reviews, and they were unverified purchases, right? And it was so crazy that the people that had given me the 5-star reviews were actually making comments
Yeah, be like,
on
what?
those reviews saying, "You're a liar." You probably didn't even read the book. You're probably one of the people she's talking about.
That's got to be that. Oh, wow.
It was just
I
like
did something
that.
good enough to get review bombed.
Right? Have you ever seen? This is another one that I thought I just dawned on me. I was thinking about this. Have you ever seen on eBay signed copies of your book that you didn't sign?
No.
I have seen 2 copies of my book that supposedly have it says signed
really?
by the
Oh, my
author,
gosh. I'm
and I
gonna see if
looked.
I can get on
I
that
know
train.
every copy because I've only ever signed like 30 copies. And I
Oh,
didn't do a
that's
lot,
hysterical.
but I saw them on eBay, and I was like, I don't know that name, and I don't know where they are, but
I gotta
that
check
is-
it out.
Yeah.
I gotta check it out because
should
Amazon
look.
still is
It's-
selling the used books.
Yeah,
They're not doing
But
any
look
more
for when this
printing
is
of
like
them.
used signed copy,
Oh,
and look at
that's
the
funny.
signature.
I
and
mean,
be
how
like,
much are they
funny.
going for?
they were like $30.
That's crazy.
And I was like, that is not my signature.
Yeah.
No, I'll keep it.
But anyway, I got concerned
Going for a couple
about
of hundred
it,
on my,
not because I cared whether or not they were fake or not.
Yeah.
But I had just gotten my real estate license fairly recently, and I was starting to get a name for myself. And I went, the last thing I need is for these 2 yahoos.
Oh, to jump on that.
Jump
Yeah.
on that. And then the next thing you know, my only source of income is just totally destroyed.
But do you have your name on one of the benches in town?
No,
You
I don't.
haven't made it as a realtor.
Darn.
You gotta have
But
your-
that's okay.
I mean, I'm sorry,
don't-
but every
I
time I
don't
stop at a
care.
stoplight and I look over and like there's somebody's picture, realtor for you, and I'm like, oh, you've made it.
No,
You have
I
your
want
name
it
on
on
it.
in Times Square.
Right.
Flashing
But you're
billboards.
in
Side of a
Colorado.
bus.
I know, but
I don't
you
know if that
pe-
would-
people might want to be relocating
right?
here.
They could
there's
be
that.
visiting from Colorado.
Yeah, they could. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway, of
that's
course.
when you know you made it, when you get your name up and your picture up on in a good way.
Yeah, yeah.
Now if it says like wanted underneath,
Yeah,
then you
right.
go like,
No, we don't
"Mm."
want that. But that's why I ended up doing this
Yes.
version, and it's done good. And interestingly enough, currently, and I'm in a lot of networking groups, this book is actually selling better than the fiction. People are all like, "Oh, tell
Yeah,
me your
no,
story.
this
I
right.
want to know about.
Oh, yeah.
Want to know about your
Yeah.
cult experience."
I did
I'm
not
like,
know.
"Whoa."
All I knew was you said that you had been you were a cult survivor, and I was like, we've got to get you on the show. Now that I know Scientology, that's even better. But I just wanted you on here for that.
Yep.
Because it's always so hard. Like I've kind of been down that road. Like it's in a twisted way because this is Wackadoo Unhinged. But Sean has made the joke every now and then that if I'd have been a cult leader, I could have been a very dangerous person. Because I have
then I'm glad you
I have a
weren't.
moral I have a moral code that just doesn't waver, and sometimes it hurts my career and the brewery that I'm not a morally bad person, because we could make all kinds of money here, but I'm very morally good. But if I had been a morally bad person, I probably could have had a hell of a
Could
cult.
have been badass.
Yes. But so it's always very interesting to me because I have a master's in psychology. I've always been very interested
okay.
in the psychology, and cults are a very big part of that. Because it's that strong, charismatic leader
Yep.
that knows how to look at people and know what they're missing in their life or know what they need to hear. I've been very good most of my life at looking at a person and knowing what they want to hear. But I've always used it for a good way. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
my customers in here, everybody knows they can come and talk to me, and that
Yeah.
I'll help them with whatever it is that's going on with their life,
Yeah.
whether it's military, the veterans, or even regular civilians, if
Yeah.
something's happened. Because I've studied that most of my life.
Yeah.
And if I ever had been one of those evil people and swung that way, I probably could have had a really pretty good cult going.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I never did.
Yeah.
So I'm always interested, and not in a depravity way, but
Yeah.
just the understanding of what it was that led you to it, and understanding why it held you for so long.
Yeah.
And I get that. As soon as you started talking about childhood, I immediately understood.
Yeah, but there's a little bit more that that clinches it for me when I look back and that's thus the title Belonging.
Yes.
I was searching for people who were like me
Yeah.
because I always felt like the misfit. Throughout my whole life, I felt like I had so much going on in my head, and I was this inquisitive kid that was annoying because I asked so many questions and annoyed the teachers. My teacher was at parent-teacher meetings would tell my parents, and they'd come home and they'd say, your daughter's brilliant. If she could just keep her mouth shut.
I think my mom probably heard that a few times growing up. Yeah, I was always in trouble because I was the first one done with my schoolwork, and then I just screw off because
me
I was
too.
bored. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, they got to the point where they had me start helping tutor
Yeah.
the slower kids
To get
just
you-
to keep me occupied.
Yes.
Because I was
Yeah.
like all over the place. So I felt like I found my people. And I think, honestly, what kept me there more than the technology or whatever you want to call it was the people. I didn't want to lose those connections
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I finally
You had
found
built that.
people that thought like I did, that talked like I did, that walked like I did, that just like where. But then when I got into the hierarchy, that changed so much,
Mm-hmm.
and even a little bit in Santa Barbara when we went from being just a mission to being a big organization.
Yeah.
That warm and fuzzy feeling started drifting away because
It's the
people would
behind-
rat you out.
the behind
If
the
you-
curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
Until you've seen behind the curtain, you love and believe what you're doing.
Yep.
And then when you see how it all.
and
I
then the
was the
friends
same
would
way.
start turning.
Yeah, I was the same
people
way in
you
the
thought.
military.
Yeah.
As sad as it is, the military was that for me.
Yeah.
Until I hit that point where I became a platoon sergeant and I started seeing the politics behind the scene.
Yeah.
When I stopped being a regular soldier and started becoming one of those upper people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what did it for me. I left after 14 years.
Wow.
I could have retired, could have
Wow.
done all that, but once I started to see behind that curtain, I didn't like it anymore.
Oh,
it
that's
really
interesting because when I was just a little on the front line, I
Yeah.
wasn't in an executive
It
position.
was
I wasn't a
exactly what you
fundraiser.
needed. It was the feeling.
I was all
that-
like,
yes. And I was the same way in the military. Not to compare the military to a cult, but
yeah, it is kind of.
At that
No,
point-
it is a very fair comparison.
But that's
I don't think a lot of people will argue
that's
with you
how
on.
I felt. 13 years, I loved every day, every minute of what I did and
Yep.
the people I was with. And the minute I passed that rank where I started getting to the political side, where you learn the behind the scenes, it really it made me sick, honestly. And it's sad. It broke my heart because of what I'd known for so long, what I believed in, to what else was there. And
Interesting. Yeah. No, I get it.
that's the first time I've ever put that comparison together. The way you just said it
Yeah.
is exactly how I felt in the military.
Wow. Wow.
And
And
that-
interesting. I didn't think until some people have been pointing out to me. They go, your fiction book sounds a little like your cult experience, and it kind of hit me. It's like it's hard to not,
Yeah.
since I lived it so much. It's hard to not have
Well,
it.
yeah, have that not be
reflected
entwined
and
and-
they're entwined.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind,
No,
I
no.
have something that's
Please do.
that's
Whatever you
really-
got.
I have this is really fun. In my wildest dreams, I didn't think that my book would be anything more than just a book, right?
Yeah.
So I decide to get this app called Suno,
Suno.
and you can make songs.
Oh.
At first, I thought it was going to be a parody app, where I could do parodies because I'm a whiz at parodies. I will listen to a song, and while a song is playing, I'll instantaneously be thinking of the alternate lyrics.
It's Weird
for it,
Al.
like, right off the bat.
Weird Al's
Very
the man.
rare. Like, boom, I'm going to be the female version of Al Yankovic.
Yes.
Yeah, go baby. But anyway, so I find out, well, this doesn't do parodies, but I wrote the lyrics for My Good God, What a Mess song. I mean,
So
the
your
lyrics.
book has a song.
So now my book has a song, and it's going to become a theatrical production.
Oh, I can see top hats and canes and
Are we here to stay?
Is this a mission or a test? What's true, what's false, what's in between? Is there an answer? Yes, it would seem. We wonder who is running the show. I guess it's not someone we know. Good God, what
Yeah.
a mess. Is this a mission? Are we blessed? Behind the curtain there lies a sleuth. Will we survive and learn the truth? Seeking truth, we'll find trouble. We'll finally see beneath the rubble. Good God, what a mess. It's a mission and a test.
I like that. That's fantastic.
So what happened is I create this song out of the blue. how you do this app is you write the lyrics,
Yeah.
right? And then you
Pick a
can plug
genre.
in, you know, what style of music you want. So I did the whole every kind of music I like: jazz,
Yeah.
soul, R&B, rock and roll, pop, blah, 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 blah. Contralto. I mean, what kind? I wanted the horns and I wanted this, and I had to put that all in there and created the lyrics myself and just plugged it in, and it boom, it came out with that. So my confidant, my closest friend, I played her the song, and she looks at me and her eyes get real big, and she goes, "This is theatrical.
Yes.
This is like amazing." She goes, "I know somebody." So she arranges for me to meet somebody that she knows works in the local theater business, and I meet him, and it turns out I already know the guy. He wrote for the same magazine that I currently write for.
Oh,
So we
nice.
talk and everything, and I give him a gift of this book, and he basically told me, you know, it's on you to write the script. You're going to need to change it into like a script for a play.
Yeah.
We don't do that for you, but once you do that, you know, just get back in touch with me, and I think there's a good shot we can do something with this.
I like it.
So meanwhile, I've gotten somebody to help me just figure out what parts of the book should be in the play, and now that I have that down, I have the wheels are turning it into an actual play.
Well, once you get the play done, we've got to bring you back in here. Get us tickets. We'll come to the show. We'll get you back in here. We'll do a call back for the episode. I
Yeah.
think that'd be fantastic.
Crazy.
But seriously, like you and there's a few other people I've been talking to recently that are also published authors. I want to do a whole book night here for like local Colorado published authors. And I would really love to do that. So, Kay, thank you so much for coming on this episode. And we racked up longer than most of our episodes. So I wanted to say thank you very much for coming on the show and for sharing your story. It was very important, and I really appreciate it. You guys check out her book, and it's just we'll put links down below for all your information so that way people
Okay.
can get to know more about who you are and what you do.
Yep.
And so from all of us here at Wackadoo, don't just do it.
Wackadoo it.
Wackadoo it, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.